snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I am here today to do a book review, and I'm actually going to be doing two books in one because they are both written by the same person, and that is Doug TenNaple. So the first book that I'm going to be reviewing by Doug TenNaple is Ghostopolis, and the second one that I'm going to be reviewing by him is Cardboard. So both of these are around 300 pages each, and they are kids' graphic novels, so let's get into them. So I was in the mood the other day to pick up some graphic novels. I hadn't planned to put these in my TBR, but sometimes I just get in the mood for a graphic novel day, and this time I was. So I ended up reading both of these books back to back, but I started with Ghostopolis, and Ghostopolis is a fairly interesting but quite standard story. It's set in a world where the afterlife is kind of a parallel universe, and certain people have the ability to travel there, but mostly humans stay in the human world. Ghosts have been escaping from Ghostopolis recently, and one of our main characters, who is Frank, is basically a ghost hunter, and he finds any ghosts that have escaped from Ghostopolis and the afterlife, and he has to send them back there. One day Frank is out and he's on a hunt, and he's trying to catch one of the ghosts that has escaped from Ghostopolis, but instead of being able to catch that ghost and send the ghost back, he accidentally sends not only the ghost but a young boy called Garth, and that is where the story really takes off, because Garth is living, he's alive, and he should not be in the afterlife, and we have to see him trying to escape and trying to get back to the human world, whilst Frank and various other people are trying to extract him from that world and bring him back to the main world. So quite an interesting idea, but not original. Garth himself is quite a young boy, and he's definitely not the most optimistic or happy child, because he actually does have an illness that is terminal, and he's not really that optimistic about life generally because he knows he's going to die. So going to the afterlife is not really a bad thing for him, and he's quite intrigued and excited by the prospect of being there, although he does still want to get home so that his mother isn't worried. When he is transported there, he has to face lots of things that are creepy crawlies. You get bugs, you get ghosts, you get scary overlord rulers, tyrants, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of interesting elements that are brought together into this book. I definitely enjoyed the story. I felt like it was fun, it was light-hearted, there was a lot going on, there were some really cool illustrations of the bad guys. It wasn't a massively original concept or anything like that, it didn't blow my mind. I am not a massive fan of the artwork of Doug TenNaple. I like it in sections. There are certain scenes or certain things he illustrates that I find interesting, particularly the other book. I will show you guys some of the illustrations from the other one, but that one I preferred the illustration. The illustration style itself is fairly standard, it's a lot of boxes. TenNaple does seem to do very over-exaggerated expressions, but this book is very PG. There are some scary things within it, but other than that, everything's very PG. I felt like the colour schemes were good. Certain scenes had more of one colour to indicate like a sombre tone or whatever. But overall, the illustration style just wasn't my favourite. It's okay. There's nothing more than that to it. On the whole, I think if you're looking for a quick light read, or one that you would like to read with your kids to get them into graphic novels, this is definitely ticking all the boxes for that. I just felt like it was a little bit too PG for me. It didn't feel that exciting for me. But if you are a younger child, or you have younger children and you want to read anything graphic novel-like with them, I would definitely recommend this for younger readers. So I ended up giving this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it, I felt like it was fun, it was light-hearted, it was very easy to get through, but it just wasn't that different or unique, so I didn't love it. But it's still worth reading if you are into graphic novels and you just want a very light-hearted, fun read. Moving on then to Cardboard, which was actually published after Ghostopolis. This one is more recent, and I enjoyed this one more. I felt like you could see that TenNaple had developed since he wrote Ghostopolis, because the illustrations I preferred a little bit more, especially in the later half of this book. This story is quite an interesting one. It definitely has some interesting elements which made it a bit more original in my opinion, and I felt like it was much more engaging for that. This is the story of a struggling father and son. They don't have a whole lot of money, and it is the son, Cam's, birthday, and his father doesn't really know what to get him. He doesn't have any money, he's looking for a job for ages and hasn't been able to find one. He's not really sure that he can get his son anything, So in the end he ends up buying a cardboard box in order to take it home to his son, and they plan on building something from the cardboard box, but he doesn't really know what. That's what he does. He takes it home. Cam is a little bit disappointed, of course, but they decide they're going to build something, and when that something comes to life in the night, they realise it's not just a cardboard box, it's actually quite a magical one, and they can create things and bring them to life from the cardboard, and it's very, very engaging from that point on. I really enjoyed this story. I felt like it was very, very fun. It was very engaging. There was a lot going on. The illustrations definitely were improved in this one for me. I still don't love the way that he draws people. I just think that the over-exaggerated expressions don't work as well, because there were some scenes that I felt could have been softer on the illustration, and that would have been more appropriate. However, I do think the way that he drew the cardboard characters was really engaging, and I loved that. I loved seeing their different expressions. They really worked in the over-exaggerated kind of form, and on the whole I felt it was a really, really interesting story, and it developed as it went on, and there were some great moral moments as well. So if you do want to buy a graphic novel for your kid, or you're a younger reader, this also addresses some of the current situations of our modern day. For example, it talks about the economic crisis that's going on at the moment. It also addresses how to deal with grief and how to deal with loss, and it addresses bullying. It's very, very good at engaging you whilst addressing all of these interesting topics, and it does it in a very subtle way, but if you're looking for it, you can see it's there. And obviously, because this is a children's book, I was kind of expecting some sort of teaching to go on, and it definitely does that, but it's all integrated into the story, and I felt like it was really, really good. There is a lot that can be imagined and made out of a simple cardboard box, and I think this really explores the different ways that imagination can be used, and how much you can push your imagination, and how bonding father-son time can be great. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on. Very well written. Some of the illustrations for you guys, particularly the ones near the end with the cardboard, are the ones that I really enjoyed a lot. I felt like they were just very, very entertaining. They got you sucked in. Again, it's all in boxes pretty much, but there's a lot more speech in this one as well. I think that's something that interested me more, was that there was a lot more speech in this one as opposed to Ghostopolis, which didn't have as much speech at all, and I enjoyed it a lot more because of that, because there was more story, more development, and more interesting stuff in the story. I love the cover as well. This one's really cool. But generally, I definitely enjoyed this. I felt like this was an improvement, so I may well pick up more of Doug TenNaple's work in the future. I'm not sure. But this, again, is a PG book. There's nothing sexual or anything like that. It's very, very PG. There are just some scary things, like scary drawings, but they're not that scary. Both of them are published by Scholastic, so they are for young readers. I ended up giving Cardboard a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I felt like it was better than Ghostopolis, which was published earlier. But overall, I think it's definitely something I would like to explore a bit more. It was nice having a really light, fun read as opposed to one that has a lot of sex or violence in it. These still have adventure. They're definitely adventure stories. I would love to hear if you guys have read these before, or what you thought of them if you have, or if you're just planning to pick them up now that you've heard of them. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon in another video. Bye! Me and you gonna have a little